what I want to show you is
Wow.
a new repository I created in order to make an Orchard Core gallery. A website that will allow Orchard Core package owners to submit their modules and their themes. So I created a few examples. I listed my packages and some of HUK that made many modules and many themes. And I also asked Zoltan to add an example with the Lombic, some of the Lombic modules. So that's a simple website which will allow to list your modules. You will be able to navigate into the modules. There is like a dozen of examples currently. You can navigate to the details of a module. You will have the owner of the package, the project URL, the NuGet package URL. You will be able to copy a command line to add the NuGet package to your project. There will be a description, a bigger description. There will be a difference between the description you list on the main page and the one you can specify in your module. I will show you which properties you have to set to create a new module or a new theme. You can also click on the tags, and you will have all the modules related to this tag. Or you can go to the tags page and you will see the module tags and the themes tags. Other information in the details page, you will have, if the owner specify them, you can set the versions of the package. So we'll say this package version is supported by this Orchard Core version release. And you can also specify which NuGet dependencies you rely on. So to do this, I will show you the code. So for each module, you are supposed to create a new markdown file. In the headers, using what we call the front matter properties between the three dashes at the top and at the end, you will specify the properties of your module or your themes. They are exactly the same. So you will specify the title, the permalink, a small description, an array of the dependencies of your package, the project URL, the NuGet package ID, a list of tags, the detail of the author, so the name, the URL, and the image URL you want to see when you display them on the main page or on the details page, the image, the name, and when you click the URL of the author. Then you can see the versions, which is a sub object. And in order to list the modules by date, you can set the date, that time when you modified it and when you want it to appear on the website. And then you can fill a bigger description using Markdown code. And for example, this one, cookie consent, it will appear like this with a link that you defined in Markdown. There are two content, two folders for the module and the theme. It will be available on a repository, so it will be probably Orchard Core Gallery on the under the Orchard CMS GitHub user. Product package owner will be able to make a PR, and in the about page, I try to explain how you are supposed to do. So, for example, you will fork the repository, add a new Markdown file, and I gave an example. You can just replace with your own information. Then you can submit the PR, and it will be reviewed and merged to the main repository. And it is using a static site generator, and after 1 minute it will be available online and on static pages. And there is also a feature for dark and light theme, and there is a search in which you can specify search terms to search for modules or for themes. And that's it. I don't know if you have any question.
Comments, not questions.
Yeah.
First, on the theme, can you just make it wide? I think it would look better full screen. It's a comment, suggestion. And the other thing is that I think you're asking too much. With too much information. Can't we grab most of this information from NuGet somehow? So like,
no.
Instead of having to, well, we don't want to duplicate NuGet, right? So like,
Yes.
Why can't we? Like, why do we need to specify packages? Why do we need to put instructions how to install this package? Why do we need to list dependencies?
Yeah. So some informations are optional, but if you want to specify which version of Orchard for each which package, we have to have our own kind of definition.
So some information are not available on NuGet, some are available on NuGet. What is available on NuGet? The NuGet package ID is available on NuGet, but we need it to at least make a link. First, good. Author information, maybe it's on NuGet and maybe you don't want to show what's on NuGet because you don't have the flexibility. Dependencies, you don't have them on NuGet the same way we expose it because it might have, the package itself can have dependencies on many things like email clients, which is not a feature, for instance, from Orchard, so we need that. Description could be taken from NuGet, but maybe it doesn't have the same description. Title could be taken. Slug could be used, could be used, but it could be optional also because it can be built out of the title.
We can also require a README file, which is NuGet recommends, right? So if you publish your package using README, then we'll just pull that README file.
I have a better option. We said that we wanted to have a gallery even if it's not on NuGet. So you could have something that is not on NuGet, but another package URL. So I made that, for instance, I think in the issue I shared with you, Antoine, and I don't see the alternate NuGet package URL because maybe it's just on MyGet and you might want to point to it. Maybe it's not on NuGet and you want to provide information about how to get the module because it's just source code, for instance, and you might want to point to source code. But if we have a NuGet package ID, then we can generate the .NET add thing, which is so when we don't specify in the setting, in the content, it's just generated automatically, .NET add package ID. This is not in the file, it's just.
No, just something I added because, for example, Umbraco was doing it on their marketplace. They were offering this kind of copy feature.
So I think we should have all the things in the Markdown. I will add that Zoltan made a point before when that is, we should open the repository before we have this site, such that the repository itself could be the gallery, at least. So if people want to look into the MD files, they can find the thing, even if we don't have a site yet published.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And also, people can also start creating the things there. Also, I want to point that what you made here is a static site. So hosting will be super simple because it can be hosted on GitHub pages. And then if we want a custom domain, then we can use a custom domain somewhere else. But it's static pages. So there is no maintenance. It's just generating the static site.
Yeah.
Also, if there are improvements to do to the static site, it's just a static site. So as long as we have the MD files with all the data, fine, we can generate as many sites as we want for people who don't like the theme or whatever. I like the fact that you have a search engine, tags and everything. It's great. But yeah, I think, like Zoltan said, we should focus on what data we need first instead of looking at how the static site will look and how to display things. By the way, it's done. So even what you have today is very nice. So we could now focus back on the list of properties.
So when you just one thought, sorry, you added here a link, right? You added a link to another, or like a markdown file. Like can I say reference README file, for example? Can I say, hey, my package has a README file,
yeah,
just render my README file?
That could be a good idea actually, to instead of providing the body here, to provide the URL of an alternate README file that exists. Yeah. So yeah, note that Antoine has the feedback from this format.
But also, will that be searchable?
The site itself by Google. Oh, is the content searchable? Depending on the static site, maybe yes. Maybe the static site generator supports that. Yeah.
Well, yeah, if we can include just a reference to the README file, which is in my package, then I don't need, it's less touches for me, because last thing I want, every time I want to update documentation to a package, I need to submit a new PR, a new PR, a new PR, right? Well, maybe I don't care for that. If I can update the README file in my package, then it'll be awesome if this site generator can just include that somehow, and I don't have to go and update
If you can point to a GitHub raw URL, that would be much easier, I believe, than saying, oh, it's in my NuGet package, because good luck with the site generator to download the NuGet package, extract the README, and include it. If it's a URL to your GitHub containing the README, definitely, I'm sure it should be easy to do. I had those comments on the data that I see here, but because you picked some of the suggestions I made and you are still including some of the things I think we should not be there, like publication date. I don't want users to be able to set the publication date that will change the order how it appears. I'm not even sure I want the modules to be displayed by publication date. I don't know. Maybe if we need a recent submission, maybe. But this thing is weird to me. But the main thing I don't like in the repository is the fact that there is SRC content module. I think the content should be at the top level under content and done. And all the rest for the static site generation and everything should be in a different folder that I don't have to check, and that can change anytime we want if we want to change the static site generation logic. But the content itself should be king in this repository, and maybe just have the content and have another repository for the static site generation. Because because today I have to go in a subfolder of SRC. No, it's not SRC. It's just the modules and the themes. So maybe if you can have 2 repositories, one for the site, one for the content, that would be great. Because this way we don't have to care much about it. And you can decide to have different owners, right? Like we could allow lots of people to then review and contribute to the modules themselves and then not be bothered by the static site generation itself.
It was a second repository. It would be like how do we call it, a Git sub
No.
repository?
Why would you? I don't think it would have to be a sub module. I think you can have a site that just clones another one when you start the generation process. Today you must have a GitHub action, right? That starts the scripts to run the generation, to run Astro.
Mm.
Then the first line of this script is git clone the content in this folder, run Astro. This way the full static site is in a different.
Not really how a static site generator is working. Most of them, you have your data. Sometimes the data folder.
Perfect. Show me the script that generates Astro. You must have a script somewhere. Action. Show me the action.
Yeah. So
the .github folder. The .github folder. Don't you have an action to trigger when
an action? Yeah.
Here, deploy. Boom. The first line, line 11. Okay, or jobs build. Okay, on line 26. Check out repository using Git. Install, build, and upload the side output. Line 26, you add a new step, which is check out content repository in a specific folder. Or line 28, after you check out this local repository, you then check out another repository in a folder that is called /src/content. This way, locally, you will have the public site, the static site generator, and it will inject in the content SRC folder the content of another repository that only contains the content. And then you don't change anything. Make sense? So it's not a submodule, it's just you separate the thing. And then your documentation can explain to users if you want to try to generate the static site, clone the thing here, clone the thing there, and run it, or run the script. And if you go on the content only repository, we just need to explain this is the format of the module of the files. Create a file there, done. And this way they don't have to care about how we generate the static site. I think that would be good for simplicity. And if tomorrow you want to use another repository to test another static site generator, then you can. You just point to the folder to do the same thing.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, we'll have, I'm sure, lots of feedback on that. That's great already. So as soon as we can have a repository with just the content, we can just show that to people, and people will start creating files, and then we will have fun generating static sites with all the content they provide.
This is great, though, Antoine. Great job.
Thanks.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Antoine. Good start.
This site is so fast, faster than ours.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. Awesome. Good ending, good demo.